Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimakung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of Great Expectations.
As.
Great Expectations. Charles Dickens. Chap. 38 Sec 2. Her eyes. Do you reproach me for being cold? Are you not? Was the first retort. You should know, said Estella. I am what you have made me. Take all the praise. Take all the blame. Take all the success. Take all the failure. In short, well, look at her. Look at her, cried Miss Havisham bitterly. Look at her so hard and thankless. On the hearth where she was reared. Stabs. At least I was no party to the compact, said Estella. For if I could walk and speak, when it was made, it was as much as I could do. But what would you have? You have been very good to me, and I owe everything to you. Love, replied the other. I have not, said Miss Havisham. Mother by adoption, retorted Estella, never departing from the easy grace of her attitude, never raising her voice as the other did, never yielding either to anger or tenderness. Mother by adoption. I have said that I owe everything to you. All I possess is freely yours. All that you have given me is at your command to have again. Beyond that, I have nothing. And if you ask me to give you what you never gave me, did I never give her love? Cried Miss Havisham, turning wildly to me. Did I never give her a burning love, inseparable from jealousy at all times, and from sharp pain? While she speaks thus to me, let her call me mad. Why should I call you mad? Returned Estella. And of all people, does anyone live who knows what set purposes you have half as well as I do? Does anyone live who knows what a steady memory you have half as well as I do? Now beside you there, learning your lessons and looking up into your face. Soon forgotten, moaned Miss Havisham. Then, not forgotten, retorted Estella, not forgotten, but treasured up in my memory. When have you found me full to your teaching? When have you found me unmindful of your lessons? When have you found me giving admission here? She touched her bosom with her hand. To anything that you excluded? So proud. So proud, moaned Miss Havisham, pushing away her grey hair with both her hands. Who taught me to be proud? Returned Estella. So hard. So hard, moaned Miss Havisham, was her former action. Who taught me to be hard? Returned Estella. But to be proud and hard to me, Miss Havisham quite shrieked, as she stretched out her arms. Estilleth. 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 Estella looked at her for a moment with a kind of calm wonder, but was not otherwise disturbed. When the moment was past, she looked down at the fire again. I cannot think, said Estella, to see you after a separation, I have never forgotten your wrongs and their causes. I have never been unfaithful to you or your schooling. Would it be weakness to return my love? Exclaimed Havisham. But yes. Yes. I begin to think, said Adela, in an amusing way. After another moment of calm wonder, that I almost understand how this comes about. Brimmed, by which she had never once seen your face, see if you had done that. And then, for a purpose, had wanted her to understand the delight and know all about it. Miss Havisham, with her head in her hands, sat making a low moaning, swaying herself on her chair, but gave no answer. Or, said Estella, which is in her case, if you had taught her, from the dawn of her intelligence, with your utmost energy and might, that there was such a thing as daylight, but that it was made to be her enemy and destroyer, and she must always turn against it, for it had blighted you and will blight her if you had done this. And then, for a purpose, had wanted her to take naturally to the daylight, and she could not do it. Miss Havisham sat listening, or it seemed so, for I could not see her face, but still made no answer. So said Estella, I must be taken as I have been made. The success is not mine. The failure is not mine. Miss Havisham had settled down. I hardly knew how. Upon the floor, among the faded bridal relics with which it was strewn, I took advantage of the moment he had sought one from the first to leave the room, after beseeching Estella's attention to her, with a movement of my hand. When I left, Estella was yet standing by the great chimney-piece, just as she had stood throughout. Miss Havisham's grey hair was all adrift upon the ground, on one of the other bridal wrecks, and was a miserable sight to see. And more, about the courtyard, and about the brewery, and about the ruined garden. When I at last took courage to return to the room, I found Estella sitting at Miss Havisham's knee. To pieces, Venos that I have seen hanging up in cathedrals. Afterwards, Estella and I played at cards. As if really we were scuffle now, and played French games until the evening wore away, and I went to bed. I lay in that separate building across the courtyard. It was the first time I had ever lain down to rest in Zata's house, and sleep refused to come near me. 1,000 Miss Havishams haunted me. She was on this side of my pillow, on that, at the head of the bed, at the foot, behind the half-open door of the dressing room, in the dressing room, in the room overhead, in the room beneath, and everywhere. At last, when the night was slow to creep on towards 2 o'clock, lie down in, and that I must get up. I therefore got up and put on my clothes, and went out across the yard into the long stone passage, designing to gain there to a courtyard and walk there for the relief of my mind. But I was no sooner in the passage than I extinguished my candle, for I saw Miss Havisham going along it in a ghostly manner, making a low cry. I followed her at a distance, and saw her go up the staircase. She carried a bare candle in her hand, which she had probably taken from one of the sconces in her own room, and was the most unearthly object by its light. standing at the bottom of the staircase. I felt the muddy air of the feast chamber, without seeing her open the door, and I heard her walking there, and so across into her own room, and so across again into that, never ceasing the low cry. After a time, I tried in the dark both to get out and to go back, where to lay my hands. During the whole interval, whenever I went to the bottom of the staircase, I had heard a step, saw her light pass above, and heard her ceaseless low cry. Before we left next day, there was no revival of the difference between her and Estella, nor was it ever revived on any similar occasion. And there were 4 similar occasions, to the best of my remembrance. Nor did Miss Havisham's manner towards Estella in any way change, except that I believed it to have something like fear infused among its former characteristics. It is impossible to turn this leaf of my life without putting Bentley Drum's name upon it, or I would, very godly, on a certain occasion when the Finches were assembled in force. Anybody else? The presiding Finch called the Grove to order, for as much as Mr. Drum had not yet toasted a lady, which, according to the solemn constitution of the society, it was the brood's turn to do that day. We're going round. What as there was no love lost between us? That might easily be. Estella, who, said I. Never you mind, retorted Drum. Estella of where, said I. You are bound to say of where, which she was. As a Finch. To be continued.